All right, we're out of the trade. I'm happy to be so because the market closes in 30 minutes. So I can now focus on recording this video. I hope you guys are having a great trading week, a great trading month, a quarter, whatever. And in this video, I'm going to talk to you guys a bit about a more advanced trading topic that I use quite frequently in my money-making adventures, to put it that way. Fading the sentiment, trading the sentiment, fading other traders. And I'm going to give you guys a few different perspectives on it in relation to my knowledge of YouTube, because I'm a YouTube content creator and I know how to read YouTube videos. So I'm going to give you a bit of insights into how to read a YouTube comment section, how to read YouTube videos, how to read the sentiment of retail traders on YouTube, on social media. At the same time, I'm going to talk to you guys about a few emotional psychological aspects that I think are very important to understand when it comes to trading. And I think it's important to learn how to think about certain things like this when it comes to trading, because once you get past the stage of the absorption of information in trading, like in the first couple of years, and you're developing your strategy and all that, you go into, well, you become the trader that is now in the game to make money. There's different ways that I think about and look at the game. One of them is regarding the sentiment of a market, the crowd psychology. In case you guys don't know me, my name is Chris over here at VerrilloTrading, and I make software tutorials regarding trading software. Every now and then I make a video about something related to trading psychology or trading techniques like this. And I wanted to inform you guys that if you're looking for a futures broker to trade futures, check out Iron Beam. Iron Beam is the broker that I recommend, and I use them to take all my own trades. I trade with them on the Sierra chart software, which is what you're looking at in back over there. I just got out of a crude oil trade anyways, and I'm happy to be that way too, because it's Friday and it's like 4 p.m. or something. Let's talk about fading the sentiment, guys. So I'm sure you guys have heard the saying, trade the trader, or fade other traders, right? Quite a common thing. There's even a couple of books you might find about that. The reason why I think it's so important to understand the concept of fading other traders is because all traders are subject to making mistakes. And I think that if you watch any one trader for any amount of time, for a long enough amount of time, you're eventually going to find that they make a mistake. And if you are watching closely, paying attention, and not using your mouth, you're using your eyes and your ears that God gave you, you can pick up these moments where traders make mistakes. I like to think of more experienced traders as being sharks. You know, you're searching for your prey at all times when you're trading, and your primary objective is to catch the prey, catch the fish. Eventually, if you pay long enough attention to the same traders, you will catch them making mistakes. All traders are bound to make mistakes. It doesn't matter what the strategy is. I've heard so much crazy stuff come out of the mouths of traders talking about how, oh, my strategy is risk averse. It doesn't impact me because I'm not betting on market direction. It doesn't matter because money is involved. When you lose money, you're going to be emotionally impacted and you're going to be more likely to make mistakes. All traders are impacted by this. It doesn't matter how big their bankroll is, how long they've been trading. Everybody has a threshold for when they're more likely to make mistakes. They're more likely to crack under pressure. If you pay attention to the actions of other traders, you can give yourself more context and more knowledge into the markets, potentially more ideas about the market sentiment. And this is called reading the sentiment, reading the traders, and combining that with your technical edge, your existing technical strategy. And that's why it's important that you already have an established technical system or some kind of system in place already, some kind of understanding, principles about the market that you already have. I want to teach you guys how to read sentiment. So I think that 90% of the work is done in trading when you're not actually trading. For trading, a lot of this work is research. I believe that when you're really in the shark mentality, you also want to get an idea of the market sentiment, meaning that what other traders think of the market that you're trading. At the end of the day, nobody really knows what the market's going to do, and I think that it's important to pay attention to what other people think, because when traders get into this mindset of where they think they know what the market's going to do, they typically make mistakes. And as an experienced trader, you kind of know more about what those mistakes are because you've made them yourself. And it gives you more of an opportunity to profit from the mistakes of other traders. So what I'll do to read sentiment is I like to do research. So I like to just do some general Google searches, simple searches, and I'll show you an example of that right now. Now, I just want to be clear that This is not a recommendation to trade any particular market. I'm not highlighting any particular market here in this video. It's just an example of how to do a basic search. This is not highlighting any particular future or present opportunities on this crude oil market. Let's say I want to know what people think about crude oil. Well, as a YouTuber and content creator, I have experience with YouTube. So I'm on YouTube right now and I'm going to do a search for crude oil analysis. And another thing you can do when you're searching like this, a good thing I like to do is select a filter, search filter. So you go over to the right and select search filters. So based on your trading time frame, you're going to want to filter this out based on today, based on this week, maybe this month, maybe this year, depending on the kind of content you're looking for. Because I think when you're trading, you also want to consider macro time frames as well as the short-term time frames. And I think, you know, maybe this is not for everybody. Some people have very specific edges that they exploit in the marketplace, but my edge, I know for a fact, comes from having a read on the market sentiment and also combining that with my technical edge. So I'm just explaining to you something that I do. I'm also not showing you a track record that this works. I'm just giving you some conceptual ideas here and strategies for things that I do, okay? So let's say I wanted to search for today. Now, when I look at a video, I'm going to give you a few examples of how to read a YouTube video based on the number of views, the title, the thumbnail, the number of comments, and the kind of comments that the video is receiving. So the first thing I look at is the title, the thumbnail, number of views, and also the channel itself. And what I'm really looking for here when I put all this together is sort of the needle in the haystack. So you're gonna have to scroll a bit and look through a few of these. It's kind of a process that you have to get used to for reading the sentiment of the retail traders. That's what I like to call it, at least. The first video here, what I'll typically do is I'll click on the video. You can see this is a recent video. It was uploaded 18 hours ago. What I can see is that there are 3 comments on the video. There are 53 likes on the video, and there are about 1,000 views on the video. So what this tells me is that this user here on YouTube is not buying likes. It's very unlikely that they're buying views and buying likes because of the ratio to views to likes. A good ratio I like to see is around between 1 like for every 10 to 20, maximum 30 views. So in this case, we have 1,000 views, we have 53 likes. That's a pretty good ratio. It's not so bad, which tells me that it is very unlikely that this person is buying views because this video basically has no views to begin with. And the next thing I'll look at is the comment section and what people are saying to the video in relationship to what the person making the video is talking about. I will watch the video first to get a general idea of what the person is talking about. And normally it's some technical analysis. And what I'm really looking for when I watch these technical analysts on YouTube is I'm listening to their analysis of the market. I'm understanding it from my own perspective, which is the perspective of a more experienced trader. I have an established trading system, an established understanding of the market and certain principles that I use in my trading. Just a side topic here, that's why I think it's so important that you have to be somewhat experienced in order for this to work for you. Because if you're still in the stage of learning trading and that stage where you're just absorbing information about how the markets work, this is not going to work for you because you're going to be watching this from that mindset instead of the mindset of a more experienced trader who has an established system and understanding and principles of how the market works. So you're viewing it in a way with a more open mind. You're viewing it more objectively because you're seeing their perspective, you're comparing it to your perspective, you're comparing it to other perspectives that you've seen. And I just think that you have a more open mind once you've gotten past that stage of absorbing information about trading. So this person is doing some analysis on the market and they're explaining some things about the market. And really what I'm looking for in their speech, and sometimes it might be hard because the video might be in a foreign language, but what I'm looking for is moments where they seem very sure about what the market is going to do. And that signals to me that they're either less experienced, they do not know what they're doing, because they're speaking in sure language rather than language like it could do this or it might do this, which is language that is more suitable for trading, I believe. If they're speaking in sureties, then that signals something interesting to me. It signals that really they don't know what they're doing and they don't really know how the market works, or they're not framing it correctly at least. So I look for that. And if I find that whatever their bias is, in relationship to my technical bias, my technical understanding of how the market works, if I find that it's against my analysis, I might go ahead and continue watching videos by that trader and actually using their analysis as a confirmation signal to execute my trade. So what it means is that I'm actually following their content so I can fade their analysis. And what I think is also very important regarding this is you have to follow the same traders for a long enough period of time to really get an idea of how they trade. You can't just like look at random people on YouTube. If you guys happen to be looking for a futures broker to trade CME Group or Eurex futures, I would recommend Ironbeam. That's the broker that I use. And I only recommend products and services that I actually use myself here on this channel. And I can say that Ironbeam is a very good broker. They have good customer service. They offer lots of different trading platforms. Basically any platform that you want, you can ask them if they have it. I use Sierra Chart. And if you sign up using my link down below, you can get a commission special. So check them out. Thank you. So back on the topic of reading a YouTube video, reading the sentiment of a YouTube video, I'll read the title, read the thumbnail, read the number of views, and obviously who's posting it. Is it an institution or is it an individual retail trader? Is it some sort of a news network posting it? And that all gives me information about how more likely it is that this person might be sharing some interesting information about the market compared to just generic factual information that is not likely to contain any actionable information. And it's kind of hard to find this on YouTube. Now, if I could give you guys a general rule of thumb, something I've noticed about YouTube, including my own analytics, I've uploaded over 400 videos on YouTube about trading. And the one thing I can tell you guys for sure is that for whatever reason, YouTube is comprised of a more beginner-oriented trading audience. And the reason I know that is because whenever I upload a topic about something more niche, more technical, and something that I believe has the potential to actually give traders actionable ideas and insights into how markets work and potentially how to make more money trading, they always get less views and perform less good compared to videos that have a more simplistic approach, simplistic topics, how to use trading software, how to use a simple indicator, what I think about the market, or just something very simple and digestible to the average viewer. Those videos always perform better on YouTube compared to videos that have more niche topics. I don't know exactly why, but I think it has to do with the YouTube audience and that it's just generally more comprised of beginners compared to professionals. So what I could say is if a video has less views, if a channel has less followers, less engagement, typically I've seen that some of these channels have quite interesting things to say about the markets. And then the opposite would be videos that have more views, more people watching. Typically it's more simplistic information, more general digestible information, and that type of information, in my opinion, from the perspective of getting actionable information about the markets and current market affairs, it's less likely to give you any actionable information, if that makes sense. So here's an example of a person who live streamed today. And we're just going to click on their video just to do a basic analysis of the video. But if it was in English, I would be reading very carefully what each person is saying regarding the context of that market in the moment that I'm trading it. So what this is called is reading the sentiment. So let's say I'm in a trade on crude oil, which I'm no longer in. I'm trading crude oil. I'm looking at the market. I have a bigger picture idea. I'm running a wider stop because I don't think it's good to run tight stops. Too tight, that is. I think it's relative to your trading approach, relative to whatever it is you're doing. And I'm running a wider stop and I'm examining the sentiment. I'm feeling out the market. I'm trying to get a feel for the market. While I'm in that trade, I'm not just sitting there twiddling my thumbs, doing nothing and watching the price go up and down a couple of ticks at a time, you know? I'm going and looking at the side markets, the correlated markets. I'm looking for clues in other markets. So if I'm trading WTI, I might go and look at Brent crude oil at the same time. Again, it's just an example. At the same time as being in the trade, I'm doing some research about the trade that I'm in to figure out if it's a good trade or if it's not. So I have my underlying thesis of what I think the market is doing, and I'm constantly looking for information that might be against or for that thesis, and I'm letting the market tell me if my trade is a good trade or not. So in a way, I'm kind of emotionally, to some extent, detached from the trade. Now, of course, I'm always going to have emotions when I'm in a trade. If I wake up one day and I'm up money or down money on a trade, I'm going to be impacted by that. Now, here's a golden tidbit about to drop for you guys. I believe that when it comes to being stoic, which I think is a very important quality to have as a trader and as a human being in general, I think that people who are good stoics, we generally prefer to defer important decision makings. So push them a little bit down the line when we are under emotional conditions. So let's say I wake up one day and I look at my phone and I'm up $500 or I'm down $1,000. Let's say I took a stop on a trade, a swing trade, right? I look at the trade and I'm already impacted by that. I'm emotionally, physically, mentally impacted by that occurrence. Now, what I would do in that case as a stoic is I have to make sure to defer any important financial decision making, basically prolong it to a point where those emotions have now resided a little bit. And that's why I like swing trading more than day trading these days. Or I guess you could say swing trading combined with going for more intraday swing moves rather than sitting there trying to read every single tick. Because when you're trading every single tick or looking for smaller moves in the market, it's very hard to defer your emotions because, you know, you're going up and down, that you're watching the market up and down every tick and you're impacted by all those movements. You're impacted by your P&L in the real time. So it's kind of stressful. Back on the topic of reading the market, as I'm in that trade, I'm looking for things that are giving me more information about if my trade is a good trade or a bad trade. I'm going to be watching traders in Telegram groups. I'm going to be paying attention to what they say. If I've noticed any particular patterns with certain traders that I follow, I'm going to be prioritizing what they say more than other traders. And I've noticed this. I'm sure most of you have in your time. If you're an experienced trader, you follow certain traders and you find moments where they're absolutely wrong on a market. They might be so wrong. You find moments where the traders are making posts and in hindsight, those posts aged really badly. So let's say, for example, the market is on a high and it's on a rally and all that. And then you see the trader that you're following, they write a post like, the bulls are in full control of the market right now. And then you look at the same post 3 days later, and then you realize that the moment they posted that, the market was at the highs and that was the high already. And then the market sold off for the next 3 days. And that would have actually been quite a good selling opportunity. So those are the types of needles in the haystacks I'm looking for. If you can clearly find a trader or a number of traders who have like that anti-edge or even a good read on the market, you want to either be fading them or going with their decision making. And it's easier said than done. I'm just providing you some concepts regarding this and how I would implement it myself. Like I said earlier, if they have less views, less engagement, sometimes I listen more closely because I found that videos with less views on YouTube sometimes have more interesting information regarding trading financial markets, not other topics, okay? That's the current headline. It's the top of the charts. And then I'll continue reading some headlines. My style of reading news is not so much going into the articles and really reading into the data, because something I've noticed about the markets over time is that, especially in regards to short-term trading and swing trading as well, is that the market doesn't necessarily do what it's supposed to do in regards to economic news announcements. And that's why I don't typically regard this information highly. What I do know is how to employ my technical edge of trading in combination with reading a market sentiment, reading a crowd psychological sentiment of how people are perceiving the market. I know how to put those two together. And what I want to do as a more experienced trader is I want to do what they're not doing. I'm trying to look 3 steps ahead of what they're doing. And position myself a little bit ahead of what the majority of people are doing. And I think over time, for me, this results in me having more confidence in my trades, picking higher quality trades, staying away from the market when the trades are not there, and overall just becoming a better decision maker. Now, if you guys really enjoyed this video and you want to learn a little bit more about trading futures, check out this video right here where I showed the Iron Beam app. And I showed particularly how I use it to trade futures rollover and track the volume between multiple futures contracts. Thank you for watching.